Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is it's not sunny today, but it's a nice day.
It is a nice day.
It's going to be a beautiful day here in Jackson, and our good friend Ashley Aldrich is with us today. And you're one of those people that come in and I'm like, what hat are you wearing?
Yes.
What hat do you have on today? Because you wear so many different hats that we have to specify. But
today we are talking about an event that the museum is holding called Upstairs Uptown.
Yes, and that is such a good idea, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we want you all to come and sign up for it and participate because it's going to be really cool. So you have on your Lillian Jones museum hat today, and we're going to be talking about the walk, and then also whatever else you have going on at the museum. But first, we have a message, and then we'll be right back.
Vinton County National Bank. We believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank. Rewarding those who serve.
All right, and we are back with Ashley Aldrich, and we are so excited to have you here today because you're going to be telling us, what fun things are going on at the museum, but also about this fun upstairs walk. So whose idea was this?
Well, honestly, this is kind of started as like Joe Finch's brainchild.
Yeah, because
we did the Ghost Walk a couple years ago, and he's like, we need to do this, get into some of these buildings uptown. And so it's kind of been his brainchild, and then we've all worked to make sure it can happen.
Very, very cool. And I know we had talked with Joe about that. And so Sixth Sense is kind of involved in it as well. So that's where I come in because we'll kind of be like the staging area.
Yeah, you guys are being great. So that'll actually, instead of starting at the museum, we'll be starting at Sixth Sense. And then you guys were nice enough to offer the people that registered 25% off one menu item that night if you show your registration wristband.
Yep, there you go. So it's going to be a fun night. So Joe, he's so fun. He comes up with all kinds of great ideas, and he's just such a fun guy to be around and so sweet. So he came up with this. The Ghost Walk, it was very successful, wasn't it?
It was. It was really interesting to go around and tell some of the lesser heard stories, some of the hauntings. This one's going to be less focused on that and more focused on giving people a chance to see the upstairs of some of these historic buildings that maybe you've never got to go in before.
And it is so cool. And because even if you've grown up here, so I have, grown up here, left for a few years, came back, had never, ever, and I knew the story that up above Call Auto Sales, that building, there was an opera house. And there were actually several opera houses here in Jackson at one time. But there is, or was, but still is, an opera house up above the former Call Auto Sales building. And literally, I don't know, when they were selling the building, I went parading over there. I mean, I've been in that building 3,000 times in my life. And I was like, I need to see this opera house thing because I don't know that I'll ever get a chance to see it,
Oh, it's so wonderful to get to see it.
It's so cool up there. And, but I'm like, I've lived, 40 some years on this planet and not seen that and been in the building and whatever. So this is a perfect opportunity for you all to get to see some of these buildings and the upstairs of them that you've seen the buildings, you've probably been in the buildings, but you've never been
100%
upstairs. So how did this whole thing, I know Joe, kind of his idea, but then what happened?
Well, it was kind of figuring out which places can we go. And so we were really lucky to reach out to Jackson Transportation, and they let us up there in 22, but they're going to let us do it again. And then
they are so sweet. Thanks, Wayne and everybody.
Yes, we appreciate it so much. And then Jeremy Eisnagel is going to let us in the old radio building that was the Ford garage. And we are going in the old Stifler's building. And then when it was the Improved Order of Redmond, used that as their headquarters when that was still a functioning organization. And then what we're really excited about too is the Masonic Lodge has given us permission.
That is one that I've always wanted to go in, but I never have.
I know. It was the board's own interest in getting to see something that led to like, let's just ask. The worst they can say is no.
That is true. Now, how many stories? That building is huge. Like, how many stories are there?
Oh, gosh. It's at least 3 or 4,
yeah.
I think. So we'll be getting to see, the upstairs part where they have meetings and get to look in it. And this is the first time ever that it will have been open to the public.
Well, because the Freemasons are very secretive anyway. It's a very secretive organization.
So this is kind of a once in a lifetime chance to not only get to see an old historic building, but get to see something that, not a lot of the public is ever going to get to see.
Do they still meet there?
They do.
Okay. So,
yep. Yeah, so we're happy. And with the Masonic Lodge and the Stifler's building and the Ford Garage, it's kind of the first time they've ever really had any kind of public viewing. Like I said, we've taken people up to the Opera House one other time, but, it's a really good chance to learn some history. We're going to be able to talk about the history of the buildings at each stop. But also, if it just comes down to you're just nosy and just want to see inside, then that's going to be great too.
I mean, why not, right? And again, this is the best and safest, and legal way for you to see some of these things. So fun story about the old radio building. Have you been up there lately?
No, I haven't been in the radio building since high school.
Okay. So when a few years ago, when I was in high school, and I don't know if it was Alan or somebody owned that building, and they decided to put a teen club in it.
Oh.
Upstairs. So, and I'm telling you this for a reason. And I forget what it was called, but it didn't last very long. But they went through, and so you have to look for this. They had painted all these funky colors and funky colored handprints and stuff. So and when we were there at the radio, a lot of people may not know this, that this studio was upstairs of that building. So I spent several years up in that building, but in the back of it, behind where the studio was, there was a garage, and you could actually drive up there and park your car and stuff. And so that's how we got in and out, is we could actually drive up there, and that's where you'll find some of the handprints and
well, that'll be great.
It's still left from back when I was in so it'd been oh my God, 89 or 90 probably.
Nice. So now people have something to look forward to seeing.
Yes.
And I think that's how we're getting in the building that night too, is going up the ramp in the back.
Up the ramp?
Yeah.
Okay.
So something neat. Everyone's probably seen that driveway. If you've been down that alley, now you're actually going to get to walk up it.
I used to call it the Bat Cave because, people are where does that go? And you could go up there and open the door real fast and sneak in. So it was the Bat Cave.
Yep.
So, so that will be a really fun building, and you have to look for the decorations, unless Jeremy has covered it all up, but I don't know.
I don't know, but it'll be something for us to look for.
Fun fact, because people are gonna say, why are all these weird handprints?
Yeah, now
colors?
we'll have an answer. Before it would have been I don't know.
What was that called? I forget. I think it even is written up there what it was called. Maybe.
Well, that would be great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But anyway, so that's one story for you all to know.
Perfect.
That's a side story from the history of the building, but that building was actually built as the Ford Garage.
It was.
And to this day, as far as I know, in the basement, there were still parts.
Oh, wow.
Some parts down there. But I found... right as we were moving, I went down there because I'd never been in the basement. Again, I'd never been in the basement. And I'd worked there 100,000 years. I found this ledger, and it was, it's about this thick, and it's handwritten of all of the service in this beautiful penmanship. I don't know who it had to have been a lady, I'm sure.
Probably.
But it was Ashley the car, it has all the date, like what was done. It's all handwritten. It is so
That's something
cool.
the museum would want to have. We love those old ledger books.
You know what? I wonder if it's still down there. That's a good question. We'll have to ask Jeremy about that.
We will. And if you want to donate it, we would love to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was just like one of the neatest things that I saw because I'd never been down there before. But yeah. So anyway, I digress. But these are all fun facts about these buildings that people need to know.
Yeah, we have so much good history here in Jackson. I feel like sometimes we don't focus enough on that.
You're right. And especially, all of these downtown buildings, well, pretty much most of them are inhabited by a business or whatever, but they all have these interesting second or third stories that nobody ever typically gets into. So that's what you all are doing.
Yeah, it'll be nice to go back and hopefully look at the origins of where each of the buildings came from and then kind of what they've served as over the years, because a lot of them have had a very varied history. What they started as is not at all what they ended up as and what they're being currently used for. So
for sure. And the Memorial Building would be a fun one. I don't know, but they're kind of probably, under.
It would have been nice to be able to take people through, but it didn't work out with their demo schedule that it was going to be done. But I actually have a lot of pictures of the Memorial Building. Since we had like a really good chance of knowing like it's going to be gone, I went through and took a lot of pictures. So the museum will be putting something out to kind of take people through. Yeah, we crawled all over that building, on the roof, out over the stage and the ceiling. It was great.
So I've told this story a million times here on the show, but now that you're here, I have to tell you, when I was a few years ago, a little girl, I was in the Legionettes. Well, that was built as the American Legion. So the Legionettes was a little baton group. And we were actually really good back then, but that's a whole other story. It was like battle of the little baton groups back then.
There used to be quite a few here in town.
Like it was, we were hardcore. But anyway, we practiced up there. And it was a perfect place to practice because there's, the wood floor and all of that stuff. But, and I told this to Pete Wilson the other day, this is my first, there's a bathroom up there and it has this line of urinals. Mm-hmm. And as little girls, you're 7 years old or whatever, you're like, what is that? So that was our first. So, the leaders all had to, the moms had to explain that those were urinals and what they were used for and all that. And so that was our first introduction to, or mine at least, to a urinal.
Nice.
And we used to just flush them and thought they were so funny.
Oh, I know. It is.
So anyway, that's upstairs in the Memorial Building.
But. Oh, that gymnasium has so much history. All the years that Stay at Home was there, baton groups, rec basketball.
I played Little League basketball there in the Memorial Building auditorium.
Yeah, I remember doing baton. And like I said, they were still doing all the Stay at Home dances there. Oh, yeah. That was the big thing. So, yeah, a lot of good history. It's a shame to see it go, but at least they're going to build something back in its place to kind of try to honor that. So.
Yeah, and I think that's very cool. I mean, as we do hate to see these old buildings go, but they can be honored, you know, in the appropriate way. So
100%.
All right. So again, I digress. But so let's talk about the logistics of the walk. Like, how do you sign up? When is it? And how do you sign up? And all that?
So the walk is going to be on Thursday, October 16th. It's going to start at 6 cents. So what we are going to be doing for that is people can pre-register, which I'll talk about in a second, or you can register the night of. We're going to give you a wristband and a map, and then have people that are willing to lead people around to the spots uptown. So it is kind of a walking tour. We're going to have a museum person or the business owner at each location to go through the history with people and to take people into the building. So it won't just be like a free for all. But we're going to get everybody. Don't want people going everywhere. So we'll do that, and then we've set off a 2-hour block basically to kind of take people around and let them see this. And then, of course, where we're starting and ending at 6 cents, we definitely want people to, enjoy that. Either, come and do your pre-registration and then have dinner or eat after. So pre-registration is going to open tomorrow. The museum is open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 10 to 3. And since we know that that's not necessarily always a a good time for people to get away from work or to come register. We are doing 2 evening registrations. So the week of, on October 14th and October 15th from 5 to 7 p.m., you can stop by the museum and register during that time. And of course, we are doing the registration the night of as well. But if you do pre-registration, it's only $20 a person.
Okay.
Night of, it is $25. And this is basically acting as a fundraiser for us for 2025. So
Sure.
every dollar that gets spent in basically goes right into helping the museum function, whether that is, helping to fund exhibits, helping to fund outreach stuff to the schools.
Mm-hmm.
All of that money goes directly towards that purpose. And so we really appreciate not only getting to take people around and talk about history, but the financial support means a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I assume, the more the merrier, right? Like you're not.
Yeah, we haven't set a limit on it.
Okay.
So we are hoping to get a really good turnout and
Sure.
take people around in groups and let you guys see some of this really great history and learn about some of these buildings.
I think that just learning the history of the building, like what I just told you about upstairs of the thing, those are all stories that I guess that's not really the history of the building, but it's something that happened there that and an explanation as to why there's weird, funky paint and colors.
Yeah.
There's so much of that in downtown.
There is. I think too, when we go, we'll get people of different generations that can talk about like the remembrances. And so like you remember
Sure.
when, I remember when it was the radio, or I remember all the way back, before that, or I doubt anybody remembers when it was the Opera House. That was quite a long time ago, but
It was.
talking about, call auto sales and how things have really changed throughout the years. I'm sure Stifler's will be a big one for people to remember what that was like.
Do you remember Stifler's?
I think it might have been gone before I was old
Okay.
enough to.
I remember it like it was, like I remember how it was. Like it's so weird to think about because it was so long ago. But I remember going there and buying clothes and toys. Like Mom would sometimes like let me pick out a Barbie or something. It was just like I remember that stuff. It was truly like your old school downtown department store. That
It was.
You didn't have Amazon and you didn't have
No.
Walmart and you didn't have those places. That's where you went to shop. And GC Murphy's was right there.
Yeah.
So all of those were actual. There was a little store. I brought this up the other day too in downtown called Jack and Jill's, and it was a little like a kids clothing store.
Nice.
And I can remember going there and buying like my summer bathing suit, like picking that out, and downtown was full of all the things that you needed.
Yeah.
It almost was better because it was simple.
It kind of was.
You didn't have like all the choice. Now the sky's the limit with
you can
with
get anything.
whatever. Yeah. It's almost overload of the brain.
I know. I feel like in the last few years too, we've really kind of seen a resurgence, people trying to bring businesses back and open some stuff up downtown, which is nice to see it survive.
Absolutely. The Ellie Mills and, we just had Bookish open. My gosh, I was going to stop by there. I drove by early Saturday and there were people everywhere.
I believe that.
Lined, like the whole parking lot was full of human beings. Like
That's so great.
It was awesome. And I drove by like later after I left the tap room and so it was probably, 2-ish, and there were still people outside and mingling, and I just thought that was so great for them.
It is. Like, it's nice for Jackson to have these little businesses. And as a former librarian, anytime we can have a bookstore.
Yes. I know that's the passion for you too.
So it's been nice. And it'll be nice to take people in some of these buildings and see where they're at now. And then, be able to reminisce on what they remember from their younger years.
Sure. And I guarantee you that there's going to be just as many stories told by participants of the walk than there will be, the people that know the history.
Yeah.
Like, there's the history, and then there's like stories of stuff that happened too.
Yeah, we're just as looking forward to people's antecedents as we are looking forward to sharing sharing like the physical history of the buildings. So
Yes. So
it's going to be a good time.
There's all of that. Okay. So that will be a week from Thursday.
Yep. 16th. We are going to open up registration that night at 5:30 at 6 cents. So if you're pre-registered, you can come grab your wristband and grab your map. And then, go enjoy dinner before the walk. And then from 5:30 to 6:30, we'll do registration for people. And then at 6:30, we're going to kick it off and start getting people to these locations and doing that.
Okay.
So just kind of a final reminder, we are starting pre-registration tomorrow at the museum. That'll run every day that the museum is open and through the 16th. So from 10 to 3 every day. And then if 10 to 3 doesn't work, 14th or 15th, so next Tuesday or Wednesday from 5 to 7 at the museum, you're welcome to stop by and pre-register. And of course, if none of that works out, we're happy to take you between 5:30 and 6:30 the day of and get you registered and let you go nose around some of these places.
Exactly. Listen, we are all human beings and we are all very, very nosy by nature.
Yes.
We are.
I feel like that's going to get as many people as the history is just like, I want to go look somewhere that I'm not normally allowed to go look.
Yeah, exactly. Like I am gonna. It's like you're being bad.
Yes. Yes. Sneak peeks.
I think that's amazing, and it will be so much fun. And hopefully the weather's great. But if not, bring an umbrella and a sweatshirt.
Yep.
Or it could be 95 degrees. We don't know.
It's Ohio. Who knows? Yeah, we are planning on going rain or shine. So, bring an umbrella or a rain jacket if that looks like it's in the forecast. But hopefully we get some nice weather and everyone can enjoy it.
Absolutely. And this is such a good idea. And thanks to Joe for, coming up with these funky ideas that he has.
Yes.
And then, again, making it happen is, we can all have ideas, but making them happen is bringing them to fruition is a whole other situation. So,
yeah, it's been nice with Joe's idea and the support of the board and the local people that own these buildings. We just really appreciate working together on that to make this happen.
And honestly, if you have some mobility issues, they're not that far, but you could also drive to each location. If you needed to drive somebody to
I'm glad
a location.
you brought that up. The one thing we can't ensure is ADA accessibility because the buildings,
for sure,
given the historic nature, all of them do involve stairs or walking up. So please keep that in mind if you are coming around. But yeah, you could definitely drive it. So if you're fine with the stairs, you can motor around in your car and still get to enjoy the same experience.
Or your golf cart or whatever you want to. Bicycle. We don't care. Just come.
It'll be a party.
With a little bell. Ding, ding.
Yes. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh. We have a I'll say young man. I don't want to say kid because I feel like, but he has one of those like scooters that the little scooters.
Yes.
And he just graduated from one that you stand on to one that you sit on. So
nice.
Of course, we all had to get on said scooter
100%.
and ride around because, we're all children, right?
Yes.
And, but I said, please tell me it has a bell. He's like, oh, it has a bell. And it does. It goes ding, ding.
That's wonderful.
I'm like, so I'm riding around with this thing, like ringing the bell. It's like ding, ding.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
It is so cute.
I love
that. So yeah, it's really funny. But okay, so while we have you here and we have some time, let's talk about the museum and some of the things that you've been just kind of coming off of doing recreation stuff and like had the pool to deal with all summer, lots of summer stuff. But let's talk about the museum for a little bit and some of the things that you have going on or what you've been up to.
So we had a really good summer. We brought back the same 3 interns that we'd had last summer.
Great.
We had Abby Plant, Sabrina Sprague, and Emma Baps, all local girls that had graduated from here and are doing great things in college. So they came back. We also had gotten grant funds from the Jackson County Community Foundation and were able to buy a really high-end, high-tech scanner that you would normally find, probably like in an archive. But because of that grant funding, we're going to be able to start digitizing all of our backlog of newspapers. And so, that is cool. The museum we're so lucky to have Jackson newspapers that go back as far as 1858. But starting in 1900,
Whoa.
from 1900 to 1994, we pretty much have every City of Jackson newspaper, a few Wellston ones in there. And we're going to be working on scanning all of those and not just having the scans, but we are being able to scan them so that when we put them online, people will be able to search them. And so for the first time, we'll be able to offer people a chance to do like keyword searches and be able to actually, easily use these newspapers to find out history. There's such a good resource, but sometimes unless you know the exact date something happened, it can take a lot of patience that sometimes I think only Bob Irvin has to sit and flip through all of them.
And the knowledge that he somehow keeps up here is...
I know. So we are really happy to be working on that. And that's going to be a year's long process.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we were lucky enough this summer. Emma was our scanning intern and she was just like, she's like a machine. She's so good at it. She made it through a lot, but we're hoping to get some more people in to work on scanning that. So that's kind of our big thing that we're most happy about in the future is not only having these papers, but being able to really make them accessible for the first time for research.
So this is like, growing up when I had to go get the microfiche or the whatever it's called at the library to find like an old newspaper or something, but you couldn't search. You just had to look through every single one.
Yeah. Once we get it up and start hosting it, you'll be able to search them. And so it'll be great that way.
My mind is completely blown because that is like truly a magical thing.
Yeah, it's going to be great because they're just, they sit out there and it's great when people call in and want an obituary or they want something and I go look for it. But this will really give people a chance, especially people that live outside the area, to really look through it and to look through it easily. It's one thing when you can just do a search for a certain word or a name and have it all pop up for you as opposed to flipping through every single page of newsprint.
Right. Whoa, that is life-changing.
Yeah.
So where would once you get it all done, I know you're still working on it, but where will that be, like online then? Or
yes, we are working on either hosting it through Ohio Memory, which is a great organization through the Ohio History Connection that you get places like us can get a subscription to, and then we can upload all of our digitization stuff to them. The Jackson City Library also has an Ohio Memory. I've got to push that too. They've got a lot of good historical stuff that they've already scanned in and got available.
They do. When we did a program there, I didn't know that was a thing, and they were showing me about that, and that is so cool. It's
really great. Their guy, Nathan Malone, because we've shared some stuff with the museum, got a great relationship with the library, but he's a scanning machine too, and he's been getting that stuff out there. So if you want to check out Ohio Memory, the Lillian Jones and the Jackson City Library both have pages, and there's some great stuff on there for people to look at.
Is Ohio Memory like something that Jen would have to pay for to?
Nope. Ohio Memory is completely free to get on. There is nothing that's behind a paywall. The only thing that they do is, I think when you print stuff off or whatever, it does have a watermark on it because it's meant to be for research purposes. But research-wise, every single thing on there is free, and it covers every county in Ohio too. So you're not just limited to Jackson. There are organizations from all across the state that have information on there.
Okay, that's really neat.
Yeah, it's a great resource. And like I said, it's in conjunction with the Ohio History Connection, who does great things in Columbus. But we're really lucky to get to do that. And then being able to scan these newspapers and make them available too has been great. And we couldn't have done it. I've got to name drop like the Jackson Community Foundation again. Without that grant, we wouldn't have been able to do the scanner. They really helped with us covering like 3/4 of the cost of that for us.
Well, thank you.
Yes, very appreciative.
Because, and you're exactly right. Not only is it for people that live here or are trying to find something, but, people that have moved away, or like you said, obituaries, or, anything that's happened historically, like that is wild.
It is. That's probably the number one research request I get from people is looking for specific obituaries of people that have passed. So...
it's interesting in looking through stuff as my dad just passed, boxes of things whatever that he had kept that was stuff when my grandmother passed, and my Uncle Lewis and some of them, and They were so good about keeping,
Yeah.
because they didn't have digitization back then, you know. I mean,
you just had to hold on to it.
But I found so many like articles and obituaries and things like that of family members. I don't even know who they are. Like,
I know.
And then I'm like, now I have to figure out who this person is.
It is amazing. Before, like, the older generations just like, they just kept it. And especially
They did,
a lot of like women.
Really like a nice box, you know?
It's boxed up, it's scrapbooked. It's so great. What we're hoping eventually too with the scanner is to maybe open it up to the public to like scan stuff, because it's really high quality, high res scans. But also if you have this historical stuff that maybe you don't want to donate to the museum because it's meaningful, but if you'd let us scan it so that we could at least have access to it historically, and then you would also have really high quality scans, and then you'd still have the original, but we'd be able to help keep that history too.
And that's allowing you to not necessarily give your history away, but share with other people easily.
Yeah, so many people. I mean, a lot of our donations come from, you know, somebody sadly has passed and they're cleaning out and, you know, we don't live here anymore. We don't have space for this. And so we get a lot of good stuff. But we know a lot of people want to hold on to that stuff too that is important. And this would be a nice way to share the history without having to give it away.
I love that. So amazing.
Yeah, we're really happy about it.
Sure, as you should be. See, this is why technology is good. There's a lot of reasons why technology is bad.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where it's helping us preserve stuff and it'll always be there. And of course, we'll always have the physical papers too. As they're being scanned, we're working on putting them in preservation boxes so that the physical ones will always be there. So we're not getting rid of those.
But, you know, over time, they are going to deteriorate. And I mean, it just is the fact of life.
You get those pre-1900 ones and you pretty much have to put gloves on, and it's so gentle because that paper will just crumble if you're rough with it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so scanning them is definitely going to save them.
Love that. Well, cool. So what else is going on there? That is a huge announcement.
Yeah, so we're really happy about that. Otherwise, it's been business as usual. We just got through the Apple Festival, which is always a big time for us. People coming back and wanting to visit.
Oh, yes.
And then we will be looking into in the future. So 2026 is America 250. That'll be the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it is
I
a
remember,
bonus.
I feel like it was just yesterday that we were doing 225 or whatever.
Yeah, so we'll be having that, and the museum will be putting out stuff in 2026 that really focuses on, I'm really hoping to look at, you know, Jackson's beginnings and how we kind of fit into the birth of the nation. Because obviously Ohio wasn't a state, but there were people that were out here roughly settling at the time. And so we really want to look at maybe the early salt boiling and the early iron industry and our Welsh immigration, and really look at, you know, Jackson growing alongside the nation growing as well.
You know, and it's interesting, and this is, I guess, a me story too, but like, it's interesting the people that come into the restaurant or to the tap room. And there was a couple in last Saturday, and they were a blast, and they're from Dayton. And they were staying at one of the cabins, you know, here locally. And they were like, okay. And they came in right as we opened. And so I had time to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so they were asking me all these questions about our area, and they were really, really interested in it. And, they were asking, you know, about how Jackson got started and, you know, whatever. And they were like, what is this Ironman we keep seeing? And
yeah,
I was like, well, that's our school mascot. And they're like, okay. I was like, well, it's kind of cool because it's unique. It's not a tiger or a, you know, whatever. Like the Ironman, they're like, how did you get to Ironman though? So I had to tell them the whole, you know, how Jackson was founded, you know, on the fiery pig iron, and you know that our iron actually went to ships that were in like the World Wars and all this stuff.
Yeah, specifically, we had iron from Jefferson Furnace that was in the Civil War on one of the Union ships.
So it was like, or I guess it wasn't the World War; it was the Civil War. I got that wrong, but still, like, I mean, that is flipping cool. And they were like, what? And I'm like, from little Jackson, Ohio here, or, you know, our area. And it's pretty neat.
We're more important, I think, when, especially like you teach history or you look at it, you focus on the world events or the national events. But, you know, all these little small towns in Appalachia and everywhere, played their own part too in building, what has made the United States. So
absolutely. And we all have a story and it should be shared and told. And so that explained to them where we got Ironman, and they were like, that is so cool, and
I know.
And then I was telling them the story about, I'm sure Mika would love this, but I was telling them about Michael's and how they ordered something else, but the peanut roaster came in instead of, I think it was a coffee roaster. And now that's what they're known for, which was a happy accident. And, all of this stuff, I was telling them all about that. And they were like, this is so, I was like, oh, I could go on for hours. Like, and I'm sure, you know way more than I do. So,
oh gosh. Well, anytime we get outside visitors, I always am like, well, you should go to Michael's and you got to tell them the history of it. And it's like, you need to go and have a bubble. And you need to find a ski and you need to find a veal.
And I told them all that.
Like, that's what I push people to if they've never been here before. It's like, that's kind of the quintessential food experience in Jackson. Because of course we're always sending them to 6 Cents. We'll send them to Arch and Eddie's. We'll send them to the Spot. It's like, you've got so many great places here. But yeah, we push that as like, this is like the quintessential food experience here in Jackson.
So I was telling them about ski and they were like, okay, ski, like what is it like? And I'm like, just imagine Mountain Dew, but like Mountain Dew on crack. And they were like, okay. I'm like, that's the only way I can describe it. Like,
I know.
I don't know.
We had a Welsh tour group come through with the Mad Dog Center, and I was trying to describe it to them. And the best way, it was like, it's like a neon green soda. Like, it's what you imagine food in America looks like when they talk about like, we'll deep fry anything, we'll do that. Like it's a neon green liquid that you drink, and it's probably like so much wrong with that. But we love it.
And it will make you, and I said, and if you drink one, your feet won't touch the ground for, if you're not used to it, for somewhere around an hour. So just be prepared. And they just laughed and laughed. They thought that was hilarious. So
it is good.
But there's so much stuff here just in our area. And, those are all things, if you stop by the Lillian Jones Museum, which I love to send people there because it's just
appreciate it.
Such a one-stop shop of finding out about our heritage. And there's all of this stuff there that people can read or see that I mean, it's just a wealth of
neat things, from stuff that you absolutely think would belong in a museum to little items. Like, we have the ski bottle from the last Jackson-Wellston game that happened when they did the honorary ones. And so we have everything from like fun pieces of history to the serious stuff. And it's always great to talk about it. Especially, I always like when I can get into schools too. I feel like we're here in Southeast Ohio, we're in Appalachia. Sometimes that mindset is always just not necessarily a positive one. And
agreed.
Kids feel like they have to, like, I got to get out of here. And it's like, no, I mean, yeah, you can leave, but there's a lot of great things here and a lot of great history that you can be proud of. And so I like putting that out there for people.
I love that about you, that you do fill people in on that kind of stuff, because it is important. And I think over time, when you're a youngin', you don't appreciate where we came from or whatever, but you need to know that, and you need to be proud of, where you came from. We're pretty cool people here.
We are. We're nice. We have a good heritage. Yes, we are.
We're nice, and that means something.
Yes, we've got that Midwestern, like, kindness.
And that's the one big thing that I hear all the time is everyone here is so nice. And I'm like, it's not taught to us. We just are.
It's ingrained.
Yeah.
To be that way.
It's cultural here.
It is.
And it almost backfires on you because you go up to like Columbus or somewhere or some other city. You go to New York City or you go somewhere and you pass them on the street. You go, hey, and they look at you like you're going to shoot them.
Yeah. Or just even like smiling at people. I found like
making eye contact.
Yes.
People walk like this.
Yeah.
It's really odd.
Yeah, I'm awkward when I'm in big cities like that because I want to smile at people. I like
pass them on the street.
Want to make conversation with people in line, and like it's such a Midwestern thing. People don't appreciate it everywhere.
No, they do not. But sometimes people just think you're crazy. which might be. But okay, so museum wise, what else? What kind of displays do you have going on right now?
Right now we're still actually running our Apple Festival display.
Okay.
So we are going to do that through the end of October so people can stop in.
Fun.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff on the orchards when they were all still functioning, and then just some fun pieces of Apple Festival history over the years. We've got all the programs. We even have the Apple main costume. So, well, the original one, not the current one.
Love that.
Yeah, so we are running that right now. And then, like I said, we'll be doing America 250 once we start into 2026. And then otherwise right now, that is kind of what we've got going on. We're hoping to plan some more events going into 2026, get some more stuff out there, get some more of the public involved in some of this history. So we are hoping to hopefully announce a few things in early 2026 for what we want to work on going forward.
And don't forget the digitizing of all these newspapers and stuff will keep on going. About how long do you anticipate that will take to get done? I know it's a lot.
Yeah, so they're all bound in books. So you've got like all of 1937 in a book, and then that's just like one newspaper. So we have like the Journal Herald, and then you'd also have like 1937 for the Sun Journal. It's going to be like a years long process. We have over 350 bound volumes in newspapers.
Oh my gosh.
And those have to be like broke apart, and then each page has to be scanned. So it's definitely going to be happening for a very long time. But we just got to keep at it. And so we've started with the oldest ones first because they're the ones most in danger of getting lost. And then we're hoping once we get enough done that hopefully in 2026 we'll also be able to launch them online. And so that'll be a whole thing too when we put that out there.
That's going to be amazing. Yeah. So great. You guys are just always into something.
Yep. And we do have our regular hours. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 10 to 3, we do appointments. So if you have a group that you would want to bring in outside of that time frame, including Mondays and Fridays, I'm always happy to make arrangements to do bigger tour groups, go into the schools, go to clubs. If you have club meetings and you need speakers, I love going and getting to talk about either specific things with history or, just an overview of what the museum does. So we're always open to that. And you can always reach out to us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we do have a website. So feel free to check out everything we've got.
Lillian Jones Museum. So, well, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having us.
Back to the walk. Let's plug that one more time while you're here.
Yep. So Upstairs Uptown is happening on October 16th. Starting tomorrow, you can pre-register at the museum during our regular hours. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 to 3. There will be 2 pre-registration events on October 14th and 15th from 5 to 7. Pre-registration is $20 a person. If you want to register between 5:30 and 6:30 at 6 cents the night of the event, that is going to be $25. And you will meet at 6 cents that night, and we will get you your nifty wristband, we'll get you your map, and send you on your way to being nosy and learning about some building history.
Exactly. How much fun. It's okay. Like, you're paying to be nosy. It's great.
Yeah, you've got the right. You can peek in places that most people have never got to see before.
Yep. I think this is a fantastic idea. So thank you for doing what you're doing. And thanks to Joe Finch for having the idea. And he's a gem as well. Just love him.
Oh, yeah. He's wonderful. Our board meetings are always, we have a good group of people, but it's always good. Sometimes they go a lot longer than they need to because someone gets talking, they tell a story, and then we've killed like 20 minutes. So it's great.
I can totally see it happening. All right. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thanks for having us.
It's always so much fun. And speaking of newspapers, our good friend Pete Wilson just walked in the door. So he is going to fill us in on the latest and greatest in news. So we do have a couple of messages, and then we'll be back with Pete and some news.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, The Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
You know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
All right, and we are back with our good friend Pete Wilson and some news.
All right. Well, on Friday, I told you that as soon as I left the studio, I was heading to Baker Swamp.
That's right. So I saw some pictures, which means you must have found it.
I did find it.
Good deal.
You know, there's about 3 or 4 different ways to get there. Neither of them are simple. But I did make it, and I wasn't the only one there. It wasn't a big crowd, but some important folks were there because they think it's important, and people here in Jackson County should think that it's important too.
Oh, wait, there's a trail there?
There is a trail. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Right. It's first of all, Baker Swamp. Where is it? I think that's probably the fundamental question to start off with, because you can't go see it unless you know where it is.
True.
It is in southern Franklin Township, as the crow flies, about 10 miles south of Jackson, probably closer to Oak Hill, within 5 miles of Oak Hill, depending how you go, maybe less. But probably the main way to go, the easiest way to go, it's it's a mile longer than the other way, but is to go, if you're coming from Jackson or from Oak Hill, State Route 93, north from Oak Hill, State Route 93, south from Jackson, turn on Clay Banner Road, right from Jackson, left from Oak Hill, and you're going to travel maybe 3 miles or so, and you're going to come to a very short township road that most folks probably know existed, called Skaggs Road. But it is very near the intersection of D.W. Deaver Road, which is just, less than 1/10 of a mile farther on the other side. The other way to go is from Jackson is to go down 4 Mile Road, all the way past the Amish Bakery, 4 Mile Bakery, then take a left several miles later on Camber Road, and almost as soon as you turn on Camber Road, you turn on D.W. Deaver Road, go a couple miles there, you hit Clay Banner, and then Skaggs Road is just when you get off of D.W. Deaver Road. So, Google it if you're not sure.
Okay, if you look up Baker Swamp, will it get you there?
I think it will now.
Okay.
Right. Baker Swamp has been there, much longer than we have. It's natural. It's just that we didn't know a whole lot about it.
Sure.
The Ohio Nature Conservancy, the state arm of the Nature Conservancy, has owned it since the 1980s, and they bought as much land as they could around there. That's called Baker Swamp, because it is considered to be a very important native wetland. It is a remnant of the old Taze River Valley, which used to be a major river that actually flowed south to north rather than north to south.
Oh.
And it has a whole lot to do with the geology of this area, and the swamp and marsh there is a remnant of that. And there's all sorts of plants there that are fairly rare. You don't see them that many other places, some of which you probably never heard of, but it's from a botanist, it's certainly important. And there's critters too that you usually don't see because it's brushy, lots of trees and whatever.
Cool.
But Mary Mertz, who is the Ohio Department of Natural Resources director, there she is. She made some remarks there. I will say this, that lady gets out to a lot of these events all over the state. And she was there. John Kerry, the director of Ohio Governors, the director of the Governor's Office of Appalachian, and of course our own native son from Jackson County and Wellston was there as well. Yeah. Jeff Johnson, who is in charge of the Ohio Division of Natural Preserves under the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, was there as well, and some other folks in that under that umbrella that are in charge of a lot of what goes on with nature preserves were there as well. Coleman Minnie, who is the preserve manager out at Lake Catherine State Nature Preserve, he was there. There he is right there. He will be in charge of overseeing Baker Swamp too, since it's in Jackson County, he and his staff. That's Coleman standing by the new sign there. So once you turn on the Skaggs Road, it's not very far at all. You won't have any trouble finding it. There is a sign, unless they've taken it down, that was temporary, right there off Clay Banner Road, so you know where to turn. But you don't have to go very far to hit Baker Swamp. There is a small parking lot there, a gravel parking lot.
Also, I was going to ask, do you just park on the road, or what do you do?
Well, you park there. They've got a little bit of a lot there for maybe 10 cars. There's a business there right to the left too, where some people were parked. I don't think you'd get shot if you parked there, but there is a small parking lot, and I'm sure it's not going to draw a lot of people at first or all at once. But there's also that loop trail you saw the sign there. It's called the Marietta Trail, a half-mile loop trail, and it takes you around the swamp. Now,
that's cool.
Now, you kind of get the idea when you walk on that trail, which I did. Everybody who was down there through the dedication last Friday walked the trail. You're going to see, this big swampland. You actually can barely see the swamp, which kind of looks like a lake, because it's obscured by brush and trees, but you can see where it is. That kind of gives you an idea right there. You can see over that brush, that swampy area there, and there's a lot of swamp there, swamp and marsh.
You didn't see any alligators, did you, Pete?
I did not see any alligators.
That's good.
It might be just not quite warm enough all year round for them.
Probably not.
But they're going to build an observation tower right there at the edge of the swamp, so you'll be able to see over that brush.
Oh, okay.
Especially, in the periods of, the spring, the summer, and into the fall, where, all the vegetation is there. So that will be a big plus as well. But it was very enlightening to hear everything that they said. It's a great story. The High Nature Conservancy is nonprofit. It's actually worldwide now. And they bought that land a long time ago just because they didn't want to lose that great natural area, which they held on to it for all these years, and they were willing to donate it to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and it was positive both ways. It's going to be a management responsibility through ODNR and the Division of Natural Preserves to manage it and build it up a little bit. So that's an expense, and they were willing to do it. The state didn't have to do it. The Nature Conservancy wouldn't have let it go if they didn't think the state would take care of it right. So, they look to do that in instances where they think that it's better for the long-term natural area for that to be done. And what does it mean that it's more important that the state has it now? Well, they, of course, are dedicated not only to natural resources and preservation and all that, that part of the state government, but they want public access. Before, Baker Swamp was private. The Nature Conservancy just wanted to maintain and preserve nature, not to have a sightseeing thing. And not that it's going to be a big tourist attraction or anything, but it's a natural place to go to see something that you don't see very much right in this area, a true swamp and marsh and wetland. And so it's there now. It actually changed over in late May, and they didn't get around to having a dedication ceremony until last Friday morning. And the state people were so happy because they stopped at the Amish bakery and got those big donuts.
I'll bet.
So they were very happy about that. But it was a very nice group and a very positive thing. It's certainly off the map a little bit, but I would recommend everybody, especially before the weather turns, to go there. It might be better to go in the fall and in the summer when it's drier, because in the spring they told us that where we walked on the trail, if it rains and because of the weather that you have in the spring and coming off the snow melt or whatever, you might have to have hip waders to walk through there.
Oh, okay.
Because just of what it is. But there were lots of fall wildflowers out. We didn't see them, but we saw evidence of beaver working on the trees and all like that. So one thing they said that was not in their news release, and this is exciting too, there is an area called the Glade Wetlands, which is off Glade Road over there in Scioto Township, almost to the Pike County line. That's going to apparently become a nature preserve as well.
Nice.
So we'll have Lake Catherine, we'll have Baker Swamp, and we'll have the Glade Wetlands. Now, that may take a while, but I believe the Nature Conservancy has that land as well. So you can look for some coverage in Wednesday's edition of the Telegram, and also we'll have that online as well, probably before it actually makes the print. So very, very, very exciting. you need to, when you can, to go see that. It's a nice drive. Once again, Google it to make sure you get there.
Yes.
But it's very much worth the trip. Tonight is the Meet the Candidates that the Wellston Teachers Association is doing. One of the more interesting races.
Please do it. Participate.
Please do. This is one of the more interesting races in Jackson County, maybe the most interesting race because there's so much interest. 6 people running for 3 school board seats in the Wellston City School District. And the WTA, that's the Wellston Teachers Association, the union group that represents the teachers, they decided to have a Meet the Candidates night. It will start at 7 p.m. It will be at the Wellston High School cafeteria. They expect it to go about an hour. Now, there are 6 candidates that are running. They are the incumbents Roger Rader and John Jackson. Incumbent Terry Gill decided to withdraw as a candidate. The other candidates are Betty Jenkins, who has been on the school board before, dropped off on her own and decided to come back this time because she feels it's important. And then newcomers, Sharon Brenner, Joel Eisnagel, and Jamie Hilton. So this is a chance for them. I'm sure they'll have a message that they want to deliver, but they'll also have to think on their feet and answer some questions from the WTA and maybe the public. Not sure what the format will be, but I know there's going to be questions from the floor. So once again, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. tonight at the Wellston High School cafeteria. There's no guarantee all 6 candidates will be there, but I do know that they have all been invited, and I would think that if they possibly can, they will be there.
Sure.
All right, and speaking of the election, we're about a month away. We'll give you more details tomorrow when we have a little more time because I have some other things to go over here. But the early voting period will start tomorrow already.
Oh, gosh, already.
Already, right? And so
Wow.
The Board of Elections in all 88 counties, including Jackson and Vinton, will be open longer than usual for early in-person voting. Absentee voting applications and ballots will be mailed out and can be picked up starting tomorrow as well. That's only at the Board of Elections office in Jackson County, of course, here in Jackson at the Job and Family Service Building, and in the community building up in MacArthur for Vinton County. All right, well, last Friday night was homecoming at Jackson High School, and we have a new queen. The 2005 homecoming queen for Jackson County is that young lady right there. She looks pretty happy. That is Kylie Gross, and she is being crowned homecoming queen by Jackson High School principal Tyler Swackhammer there. And of course, here are the attendants and the senior attendants and the underclassmen attendants along with the queen. Let's give these young ladies credit. They look so lovely there. From left to right are freshman attendant Bailey Brown, senior attendant Zoe Irvin, junior attendant Maddie Mercer, senior attendant Sophie Williams, senior attendant Emma Carroll, queen Kylie Gross, sophomore attendant Kaylee Bagan Beltran, and senior attendant Braylon Brennan. So congratulations to all those young ladies. They had a homecoming dance on Saturday evening. Of course, all the crowning and pageantry on homecoming night of the football game took place before the game. The alumni band was there to play.
That's fun.
A lot of folks were out for that. They had pink T-shirts on amongst all the regular kids in their band uniforms. Very successful, lots of participation there. And, they did the long train running and the dance, and the alumni people were right in there with them.
Love that.
Doing the dance and
so
playing their
fun.
music. All right, we do want to tell you, this just came out this morning, and this is important. Jackson City Council was going to have a special meeting tonight to do some important business. They were going to at least consider, and they probably would have acted, I think, on the contract to demolish the memorial building. And they were also going to consider another contract to extract the limestone from the building so it can be used in the new building. That will be a transition of the old building being part of the new building. That takes a little bit of money, but they were going to do that, and that was going to be a separate contract. However, they had to cancel the meeting. This just came out this morning because of sickness. So some principal who was involved in that, I don't know whether it's I don't know whether it's somebody with the Tetra Tech, which is managing the demolition contract process through the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, or somebody on the city. or maybe a contractor, not sure. But because of illness, they have canceled that meeting. They will reschedule it, but we don't know when that will be yet. They wanted to get this done as soon as possible, so they called a special meeting, aware that next Monday is Columbus Day, and they don't normally meet on a federal holiday.
Right.
They don't want to wait till the next regular council meeting. So I look for this meeting to be rescheduled, maybe before the end of the week. We'll see.
Okay.
A couple of traffic things to tell you about. A section of Fairgreens Road in Jackson County will be closing to repair the road from damage caused during the June 5th storm. A lot of people live on Fairgreens Road and use Fairgreens Road. This will be between State Route 32 and the Wellston Industrial Park Road, so it's the side close to Wellston. That road will be closed for up to 2 weeks, so they can do emergency work.
Okay.
Jackson County engineer Melissa Taylor was able to acquire an emergency grant that will pay 90% of the repair costs. So that part is good news. The city of Jackson will also be doing maybe what I expect to be its last job in the summer paving program, and that will be paving the part of Pattonsville Road that is in the city.
Okay.
So we're talking from Longworth Street, there off East Broadway Street on that end of town, out to State Route 32. And I know that the county, if they haven't already done it, their summer paving program, and it fell into September when they were able to start, also includes part of Pattonsville Road. Not
Gotcha.
sure which part, but Pattonsville Road is getting definitely improved with paving by both the city and the county. Also in Wellston, this is a limited project, but important to those folks affected, on Indiana Avenue, which is the main residential street in Wellston. Starting today, there will be gas work on Indiana Avenue, gas line work between 11th Street and 13th Street. That is on the south side. Work is expected to last through the week. There will be no through traffic from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So they'll be doing this work on that 2-block section of Indiana Avenue in Wellston, from 11th Street to 13th Street all week, and that started today. Also, some real quick stuff from the sports side. In high school football, the Jackson Ironmen defeated Greenfield McLean in that homecoming game by a score of 48-6. The Vinton County Vikings lost to Scioto Northwest 43-22. That was up in MacArthur. On the road, the Wellston Golden Rockets lost to Nelsonville York 55-0. And the Oak Hill Oaks, playing at home, lost to Wheelersburg 52-8. And the University of Rio Grande football team has not won a game yet, but they're trying. They played here at Alumni Stadium last Saturday. They lost to Kentucky Christian 42-6. They're now 0-4, and they will play at Pikeville, Kentucky next Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. That's not too far down the pike, down State Route 23. Just cross the bridge there somewhere and hit State Route 23 south, and you'll hit Pikeville. Very nice town, and they've got a college there. That's where the next game will be for the Rio Red Storm. And then I believe the next week they're back home at Alumni Stadium.
Very good.
So there we are.
Awesome. Well, Pete, thank you so much
You're very welcome.
for sharing your knowledge.
Right.
All right. Well, very good. Do we have Maddie and Josh tomorrow? Fun. Okay. From OSU Extension. So it's always a good time when they show up. Thank you to Ashley for stopping by today, telling us about the walk that they're going to be doing next week.
Right. I want to commend Ashley. Ashley, of course, director of the Lillian Jones Museum. And, you know, it's a job to manage the museum. They got the genealogical center there.
Yes.
But she is really into preserving and promoting the local history, too. And that's an arm of it. But she has been especially aware of that. And she has been writing a monthly thing that I love to run in the paper that she does a lot of work on, called Hometown History. So I hope she doesn't get too busy that she can't continue that, because that is a great contribution. She does some original research on it. Of course, she's got the stuff all around her to do that, but she does the work.
No, she does, and she's amazing. So, all right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We actually have some rain in the forecast tomorrow, so.
I think it's supposed to be over an inch.
Yeah.
Well over an inch. So it's overdue.
Literally, when it rains, it pours, right?
That's about
Pun intended.
That probably applies tomorrow.
So get out if you have anything to do today. Get out and about. It's going to be a nice day. But tomorrow, some rain in the forecast. We'll see you then. Thank you so much for tuning in with Maddie and Josh tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.